right space to explore real-life issues affecting real people. We provide professional counseling to individuals, couples, organization, schools, church, and others. Follow, share, subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Let's Chit Chat UK.
Hello. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. To our chit chatters, we are back. Welcome. We welcome you all and we welcome ourselves. It's been a long time and we certainly have missed you. I'm Pastor Cecile and I'm happy to be here with you today. And if you'd like to introduce yourself.
My name is Enoch and I'm happy to be here today. Let's chit chat.
Let's chit chat. We are missing our other team members. We are missing Richard, who's meant to join us today. We are missing Jackie. She'll be joining us next week. We are missing Odile, and we greet all of them. So let's chit chat. Today's topic is about a topic that is a bit intriguing, a bit nice, a bit worried. What is mine stays mine. What's mine stays mine. That's our topic tonight. What's mine stays mine. And many of us, we tend to hold on or keep our stuff together. We tend to not want to give few stuff or few things away. We tend to kind of keep our things to our chest and closer to us. But then some people are always giving, always sharing. But then the topic is what's mine stays mine. What's mine stays mine. It must be mine and it stays mine. It doesn't go anywhere. Pastor Enoch, can you let our listener in? What is that? Please share, follow, and subscribe. Pastor Enoch, what's man stays man. What do you think?
Yeah, it's kind of thank you, Mommy, for the opportunity. I would say that it's kind of very intriguing topic, and I would say that when one come up with a statement like "what stays mine," what is mine stays mine, I'll say that it's kind of selfish way, or the person is trying to say that I don't want it to grow, or I don't want it to become successful, or I don't want it to become public. Whatever that you keep cannot grow. Whatever that you want it to stay yours cannot go public. It means like you want the thing for yourself and you have built a certain kind of limitation on the thing that you are holding. So, for example, if you are in a relationship, everything that about you is supposed to be shared. It's supposed to be between you and your partner. So the moment you come out with such a statement, it means that one way or the other, I'm talking from the perspective of relationship, it means that one way or the other, you are being a selfish person, or you are not being an open person in that corridor that you are in. So it depends on where you stand or what you're talking about that you can make up such statement.
Now I'm going to ask you. I know you're a pastor. You're talking on the pastoral perspective because you say what's man stays man. You don't want to be selfish. You don't want the person not to share. So you kind of like looking at the master who gave the his worker the talents to be able to trade with the talent, and one kept his. He wasn't ready to do anything with it. But wouldn't it be a problem where you have things and you keep on sharing? At which point do you actually keep your stuff growing within yourself? Because if they come and they go, wouldn't you be starting all the time? Wouldn't you be always empty? when you always on the lookout when you could have collected some and kept some for yourself than to just consistently carry on sharing. Then when you start sharing too much, are you sometimes you share to the extent that you cannot receive back. You keep on sharing. Some people will share until they become bitter, until they become upset, until they become angry because they will share. Then when it's time now for them to also ask back, they don't receive back. So at which point do you understand that I have to share, I should share, but with some limitation in order for me to share, to overshare and end up running ad. I really say that sometimes when I was younger, living with my parents, often enough, my mom will cook, people will come in the house, and then they will just share the whole food to the visitor who have come. Sometimes it's like if we haven't eaten, because there's so many visitors coming in the house, by the time we turn to go and eat and look for food in the kitchen, the food is already gone, my mom, especially on Sunday and Saturday. Sunday and Saturday was our house was like crazy visitors all the time. So people will come, and of course, people have come. My mom and my dad, my mom will put priority to those who have come and share and share and share until by the time we turn, the food is gone. We have to start cooking again for ourselves if we haven't eaten. So at which point do you actually put boundary and limits to that sharing before you end up sharing what you are not meant to share? Pastor Enoch.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, it depends on where you're coming from, because we have seasons and times. Seasons that you should be sharing, and seasons that you should be keeping for yourself. So it depends on what you want people like to have. That's what you give, because you cannot give more than what you have. So if it's like a gift or a seed that you have, that you have to keep some for yourself, that in times of need, because you know that you cannot count on men for your provision, and you can be deceived by men emotions if you are giving some things. So I believe that it depends on the kind of season you are in and the things that you want for yourself. That will be a determinant factor on the things that you are giving. For instance, if you are into investment and you want, let's say, your talent or your seed to grow, that means that you need to give out. You need to give out because you want higher profit. But if also a season will also come that you need to keep the things that you have, so that in times of the need, you can have some for yourself. So I would say that it depends on where you're coming from, and depends on the seasons and the let's say the moments that you are in. That will be the determinant factor on what you should do.
Mm.
If
Okay.
for instance, okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I would say in a case of the talent that you talked about, I would say that as a human being or as a pastor, I know that God has given everybody talent. God has deposited, let's say, something in everybody. So everybody has a seed. So it depends on what you want for yourself, because God has given you a choice and a decision to make. So if you want that talent to be dormant in you, it can be dormant. And if you want that talent to grow, it can grow. It depends on what you do with what you have been given. So it's not about even what you have, it's about what you do with what you have. That makes men know that, let's say, you have been able to utilize what God has given you. So the talent that the man gave it to the servant whilst he was traveling, he wanted to gain profit. So the assumption or the mindset of the master was to gain profit. And because he wants profit, it means that he was expecting the servants to do something with what they have. So at that moment, it's up to them to make the decision that, oh, this time around, we have to give it out. This time around, we have to, give it to people so that at the end of the day, we will have profit on whatever that we have given out. And when it comes to relationship also matter, let's say you have something, you have gold, you have gold, it is yours. That is true. But when you are into marriage or when you are into relationship, it is no more yours alone. Because when you are marrying somebody, you make a pledge for yourself, like, oh, for better, for worse. So I don't think like when you have the better one, that's for you alone. But when you have the worst, that's for sharing. So it depends on the where you're coming from and what you got and what you're supposed to do.
Now, let me ask you a question. What man stays man? There are some relationship that some people will take and they don't know how to give. They just take the expecting their birthday to be given, they expecting the marriage anniversary to be given, they expecting maybe clothes to be bought by the other partner. It might be the wife or the husband, whoever expects to buy clothes, receive from the other person. So at which point do you now say, I've given more than enough? I'm expecting the other person also to give some, because some people just take and take and take. That's one question. At the same time, there are, like you said, there are seasons and time where you have to give and where you have to save some for yourself. Now, look at our culture. I don't know so much about yours. My culture is kind of like my background. You have to be giving and giving and giving. Then the more you give, the more people expect you to give. So when you get to the stage where you cannot give, it turns out against you, as if you are now selfish, as if you're now don't want to help, as if you're now don't want to support. It might be the stage where you have been giving and giving, then you realize, hold on, the way I'm giving, I don't have anything. So then you are treated as being selfish, as not giving, as being bad. And then at the same time, if you give and give and you get to the stage where you don't have yourself, then you also become a mockery of people. Now they don't have, they treat it as you completely done, you don't have but they forget that you have been giving to them. The reason why you don't have is because you have given too much. Now you get to the stage there, you don't have any more. That will then become a stage for people now to mock you. Oh, this one used to be high. Look at them now, they're now low. So at which point do you understand that giving is good, but at the same time, you have to rationalize whatever you are giving in order for you not to be giving and exhaust your energy. And when you now stop giving, you are qualified as someone who is bad, or you give all, then when you don't have, you are now treated as someone who has fallen down or disrespected because you have given so much that you didn't reserve yourself. So how do you balance giving and what's mine stays mine? How do you balance that? Because it could be hard to balance these things.
Thank you, mommy. I would say that life actually becomes stressful when you are the only person that has been given in every way, like even in a ministry, in relationship, in every form of life. And it becomes even more stressful when it's like you are being stricken by culture. When you are being stricken by culture to the extent that there are some cultures I know that in our culture, they will tell you that when you go to a marriage and you gain as a woman, you gain something, you bring it home. You bring it for your family. But when you lose, it's for you and your husband. It's kind of, something that you don't understand. But I would say that you got to know when to give and when not to give. Because even when you have a bucket full of gold, for example, when you have a bucket full of gold and everybody comes, you give the person one, you give the person two, you give the person three, and you are not receiving anything in return. At the long run or at the end of the day, you become empty, and you might not know if these people that came for it, they will be of help to you or not. So I will say that giving must be done with wisdom, because you cannot give to the extent to hate yourself. Yeah, mommy, that's what the Bible even say, that love your neighbor as yourself. So if you don't love yourself, you can't love your neighbor. So it's from something from within you to outside world. So I would say that in order for you not to be in a stress period of your life, you need to know what to give and even how to give to people. There are people, no matter what you do to them, they will come for more, and they won't. They have nothing to provide for you. It is an error for you to be living in a world whereby you are the only person that is giving. So earlier on, I was saying that everybody has something to give. No matter who you are, you have something to give. It's your decision to know when to do it. And some people have decided not to do it. When you talk of giving, some people will say, okay, only money, or only some kind of clothes or some material things. But there are people, they don't have money, but they have wisdom. There are people, they don't have, money, but they have their muscles to use. So everybody has something to give one way or the other. So if I have, let's say, a friend, and I see that every day I'm like, I'm the only person that is giving. If it is money, you know that okay, per your standard, you have that ability to give, but you also to expect that fellow person also to give something. If he can't give you money, the person can give you some kind of inspirations. The person can give you some kind of wise saying. The person can give you a lot of things. So nobody is empty in this world. We have decided not to give. We have decided not to give. I was talking to one of my friend, and he was doing something for me back home, and I gave him something to do some things for me. I gave him money to do some things for me, and the money got finished whilst they were doing the project. So later on, we needed another money for another project altogether. And I asked, we have not even paid for the other one, and now we need of another thing. And he was like, "Oh, I've taken care of the first one." So inside of me, I'm like, I was so happy that at least it is not his own, but he's able to provide something. He's been able to, give something for the project to continue. So it means that this person cares about you. This person think about your well-being. So anybody that keeps on give me, give me, give me, give me, is a wrong ideology, and you shouldn't be swayed by such people. So, mommy, I would say that the speech, like what stays mine is mine, is kind of selfish way of doing things.
Okay, then, oh, Pastor Joe, God bless you. Pastor Joe is on the line. God bless you so much for tuning in. God greatly bless you. Now, you just said we need to share, and then you also said that if we say what's mine must stay mine. And then you something that I like you just said earlier on, meaning that when you're dealing with individual, you should be able to assess them, or you should be able to kind of like review them or evaluate them in order to know that if this person that I'm carry on giving and giving, when is I'm done, would I see them? Because that's where the problem starts. What stays man? Often enough, people who say what stays man because they have given and given and got to the stage where they were done and they literally didn't see anyone to lift them. They literally didn't see anyone to give back. So when they manage now to put their feet on the floor, they decide that, you know what's man stays man, doesn't go anywhere. If it's man, it's really truly man. I will not give. So should we say that sometimes we reach the stage, or often enough, people reach a stage to say what's man stays man, because they have been used, they have been abused, they have overgiven, and they never received anything back. Is it the fault of the person who has been given too much, or the fault of the people who have been taken too much? Because often enough, if someone comes to you all the time and you start giving and giving and giving, that person will forget that you also need. They will kind of like build that culture around you, the culture of taking. They will not build the culture of taking and giving because they've been receiving and they haven't given back. They become literally selfish. They don't give back, but they expect to receive. So should it be up to each one of us, our responsibility to ensure that those who are run as we don't overgive, because before we kind of like give them the bad habits of just taking from people? Because if you start giving to me and giving and giving and giving, I might just build a bad habit of expecting people just to give me and me not to give anything, because some people that I have come across, they've been giving so much that I haven't learned how to also give. So therefore, should we expect people while we are giving, we also expect them to give us back? And when they don't give us back, should we slow in giving to them? Kind of like the same people. What do you think?
Okay. I would say that it depends on the motive of your giving. The motive of your giving. If it's like from your free will, let's say you giving something to, let's say, somebody from your free will, it's kind of different. But when it becomes a point whereby uh, the other person is the one that is asking, and the person keeps on asking, and not something like from your own free will that you are doing, then that you have to apply wisdom to it. I would say that thank be to God that all my friends around me are givers also. Because when I give, I'm expecting at least, like, if it's not even financial or something material, I mean, encouragement. I mean, you have something to provide also for me. I'll not be giving whereby maybe I come to you and it's like your mindset is always negative kind of stuff. It doesn't work that way. I have somebody that I used to visit here, and anytime that I go and we be talking about belief and something, he will make it seem like my kind of worship is not ideal. So always I don't feel comfortable going around the person. And the person doesn't know why is that even now he called me, I don't pick up. Because like, yeah, I don't want my energy to be drained. I don't want to use my energy for what will not profit me, that at the end of the day, my spirit is not happy. I come to you and my spirit is not happy. I'm not gaining anything. I just lose my energy and stuff. No, I won't bother. So you will give out of wisdom. And there are people that you give them to stop them even from coming to you.
Okay. You said there's some people that you give them to stop them coming from you. What did you just say? I didn't hear you. I didn't get you.
Yeah. you give it to them in order for you to stop them from coming back again. But there are people that they have the mindset of always, coming to you, or like, I mean, draining you. They have that kind of energy to, drain you. Sometimes when they ask you and even you don't have, they make it seem like you are a bad person. So said people, you give it to them as, let's say, okay, oh, I want a loan of this amount, and you know that this person, he or she will surely not give it to you again. He will not pay. So you be happy to give it to the person. That when he comes for another help, he will even feel like, oh, the first one that I came, I couldn't pay. So you don't need the new help again. So there are people sometimes you do even them good not for them to even come to you again. So I would say that in giving, if it is not you that you have decided to give, whenever you give in to somebody, you too have to apply wisdom that at the end of the day, you not be in the lack situation. At the end of the day, you not, be begging for something that uh, you think is due you or is your right. So giving must be backed by wisdom.
Okay, what advice we are um this is Leslie Chat and Pastor Cecile, this is Pastor Enoch, and nice to have you on board. We are talking about what man stays man, and we are talking about people who consistently give and those who are also don't know how to give. So now, what advice do you have out there for someone who has used this word, what man says man, because they literally don't want to give? What advice do you have for such a person out there?
Okay, I would say that to the person that would say that what is mine is mine. Life is give and take. So if it stays yours, you shouldn't also go in for another person's own. It's just simple. So if like you are a kind of person that is a good-hearted person, and you should give. This life is about giving. It's about giving. Giving is your living, because when you give, then you open the doors also for people to give. But in order for you also not to get it, that's what I'm saying, that you have to give with wisdom,
Mm,
with caution. If
mm,
it's not something that, like, you yourself, you feel the way that, oh, this one I want to give, I want to give, it's fine. But if it's like people that is asking of you, people that is demanding of you, you need to ask for wisdom. You need to add wisdom to it. That at the end of the day, what I'm giving, I will not be in a position whereby, like, I will be begging for something. There are people that gives out of feeling, out of their emotions. I mean, sometimes some people, even they will go to church. It's not from their heart, their own. They have money on them. Let's say it's 2,000, and they have something to do with it, and maybe a pastor or somebody will be preaching, and the thing touch their heart, right? At the moment they give impulsively, they will go and just drop the money. At the end of the day, it's like they will come back and be blaming God and stuff for what they giving. Meanwhile, they didn't do it because God instructed them to do. So I would say that in giving, you have to also add wisdom to what you're giving, or ask direction from God on what to do.
brilliant. You just answer both ways. And what question I have for you now, or what advice can you give to someone who literally never learned that giving is good? They just never learned, they were not brought up to give. So that has become their culture. They just don't know how to give, and they don't understand why should they give. What do you say to such person? They is not literally, I could say in a way, is not really their fault, because they didn't learn how to give. They were not brought up in a system of giving. They just brought up in a system that what is theirs is theirs. So the system, the culture has taught them that giving is literally something that they should not be worried about. What would you say to that person so that they can at least understand about giving?
I'll just chip in this one funny thing, and I would say that if like your culture, you are being brought up about like you don't know how to give, you should also let your culture also teach you how not to receive. I mean, like, I mean, like, life seriously is about giving. Even sometimes, if you are not brought up that way, then you have to learn because no man is an island. At least you need somebody to be able to reach your destination. You need somebody to survive. We shouldn't even bear in mind that it's only some kind of physical things that you need from people as when it comes to giving. There are people you won't see them giving physically, but when they go to their prayer closet, they will be praying for you. They are all part of Sir Richard Aquava. See, mhm. It's something like uh we don't let our culture teach us. You learn. You can't live without giving. You can't live without giving. If you are selling your talent, it's giving. If you are selling your product, it's giving. Whatever that you do in this life, it's about giving. If you don't give, you cannot succeed. Because now what we are doing, we are giving out information. It's giving. So a wise person will sit down and take something out of whatever that we're doing, and it profits the person. So whatever that we do in life, our life is surrounded by giving. Thank you.
Brilliant, brilliant, good, Pastor Enoch. Welcome, Richard, Mr. Richard. Welcome, Richard. We are giving the platform to you so you can develop us on this topic because we were just literally about to close. So we need your wisdom. The topic is what's man stays man. So, what contribution do you have on that before we kind of draw it to the end?
Well, first of all, greetings and salutations. Lovely to see yourself, Sister Cecile and Brother Enoch. A pleasure. I was actually caught up in another project and I lost track of time. But this topic, I look forward to watching the revamp and the rewatch. Maybe you might develop it on another show, who knows? But it is a topic that was brought to my attention having had a conversation with a friend who had made acquaintance with a lady, and after a couple of months of the relationship where he believed things were going well, she, over the course of a cup of coffee, said, "I want you to know that what's mine stays mine." He was taken aback, shocked, disappointed. It was like a punch to the gut. And it got me thinking, hence why I got in contact with you, Sister Cecile and Brother Enoch. This was a very interesting topic. Now, I reasoned with my friend. I said, well, didn't you ascertain the land and how the land lay in the early stages of your relationship? Did you get the impression? Did you get an understanding? Was the conversation brought up as towards the attitude of the lady and his attitude? He said it hadn't taken place. So when she came up with this, it was almost a bolt from the blue. But for him, he made his way home on a long journey in the knowledge that this relationship was not going to work out. Now, I must say, Sister Cecile and Brother Enoch, I don't know what your position has been. I don't know what the viewers and subscribers' positions have been and could be. But I don't think it's a cut and case closed situation. I.e., why shouldn't a woman in this instance, in this particular scenario, why should she not say, with all due respect, I just want you to know, no disrespect, that I've built up my personal property industry, started my own business, and if we're going forward in this relationship, this will be, with all due respect, mine. And if you earn anything from your profession, your passion, then that's no problem. The question, of course, then becomes, and it's awkward for some, excuse me, but where do you start sharing the financial fruits of the relationship? Is there a separate pot, a joint account, for example? Or is that too clunky? Is that too impersonal? Is that not the sign of a loving relationship? What are your thoughts if you've not covered this? I don't know how much time you've got, but that's where I'm coming from in this particular discussion. It's not disrespectful to say what's mine's mine, but I can, on the other side, appreciate where someone would say, well, look, we don't need to talk about money. If we're going to go out on a date, we're going to go on a holiday, we can go halves on it, no problem at all. You can pay for this dinner, I'll pay for it on another occasion. But when you're talking about hard earned wealth or financial packages, why should it be clear that your partner, who may not be with you for life, may be with you for a few years, you don't know? But is it really a rude thing not to share and share alike? Is that not prudent? Speak!
Richard, do you want to go or do you want me to go?
Mommy, go ahead.
Richard, I will say, in the context that you're talking about, we haven't quite touched that, which is good, your view on what we have said. But nevertheless, I will say that I will ask the question, was your friend or that individual that you knew was going with the intention to share was the ladies? Because why should he go back disappointed? Why should he go back thinking that this relationship is not going to go far? Was it after someone who has already built their lives and hoping to just join in and be handed as a piece of cake that easily? To me, that would be a question. What were his intention from the onset to be so much disappointed that the person will say, you know what, I worked so much hard in the past, you haven't been in my past, I built my past by myself. Now, if we are together, let's start building today together and share today. Let's not go and share our past. He could have been a millionaire. He could have been a billionaire. Would he have had a problem with the woman saying so, knowing that he had worked his money in the past by himself? I don't think so. I don't think he would have any problem. He would have been more than happy to say, oh, good. If it's like that, then let's start building from today so I can protect what I built years back. He would not have been disappointed. For him being disappointed, I'm a bit disappointed in him for not even having to start the relationship, but being disappointed about someone who wants to protect what is theirs, meaning that your intentions are not quite good. But I wouldn't go so far on judging him as a person. I'm judging the action. But what I think, to me, if that relationship was anywhere going to be genuine, he could have maybe said that, okay, that's fine. Let's carry on knowing each other. Let's carry on talking. You never know. The person who says, what's mine stays mine today. Once they see the genuinity of your action or your living together, they might end up changing their mind, because it might just be a test to make sure that you are not coming on the impulse or impression that they will hand in their hard labor to you just like that, and which, looking at this action, maybe the woman was happy to have said it, because if he went and he never came back or never reacted, so then it proves the reason why the woman had to say that. So once again, you never judge people. You probably, every rational person will not just in one day hand in what they have worked for years, just to literally, the person that they're marrying is still, although they're marrying together, but you're still literally a stranger to them. You don't know how long that stranger is going to be in your life. Will you want a stranger for one day and then 1 year you hand them everything that you have worked for 20 years, 15 years, 10 years. Then after that 1 year, you don't see them again. That is a bit a question mark. So Pastor Enoch, I don't know what you have on that.
My first question is to you. How can one be married and still be like strangers to each other?
Okay, let me just say this. If you marry, the marriages these days, sometimes people don't get to 3 years before they get married. Sometimes people don't get to 2 years before they get married. Sometimes people don't get to 5 years to get to know each other before they get married. Some people just meet 3 months, they married. 6 months they marry. You marry someone that you literally know for 6 months, you haven't worked the inside outside of them in 6 months, because you can even stay with someone 5 years. It doesn't mean that you know them that well. Even 5 years will not tell you that you know the person in ad. They will still shock you, they will still surprise you, they will still be things that you will still turn around and say, oh, I never knew that they can do this thing. So therefore, if it's a 1 year relationship, that person, you are just cohabitation, you are co-knowing, you are learning to know yourself. Although physically face to face, the person might not be a stranger to you as a stranger in the road, but in terms of character, behavior, all these things, you're still learning to know the person, to understand the person, to even get to digest the person. You wouldn't say that, oh, because you've been with someone for 1 year, you really know them. You don't know them. Wait until issue hits you, situation hits you, hard life kicks in. Then you see the person's reaction. Then you can now say you know the person.
And my second question is that when you are married, and even if it's 2 months or 3 months, can you use that context of saying like what is mine stays mine in that marriage, even if it's 1 month? Because the reason why I'm saying this is that even if it's one day, you guys shared a vow, you guys have understanding of what you are going to do, so you don't have any saying of what stays mine is mine. The vows that you do exchange, it's like for better for worse. So where come from what stays what is mine stays mine, it doesn't work in the context of marriage. That's what I understand.
It depends on the small writing. Depend on what did you put. Do you have a small writing? That small writing, if you put something on the
Oh
small,
my.
that determines how much you're going to share together, or to what length you're going to share together. So if there's something on the small note, something small,
Are you guys
then
not one? Are you guys
you
not one? Since you are married, what I know is that you are now one. So I don't you don't
you are
have
now one. You are now one from that day. You are now one
one.
from that
Uh-huh.
day. You are not one from yesterday. So it depends if the person wants to bring in their yesterday to today. If they decide they bring in their yesterday to today, that you are now one, then you are one. But if they decided that my yesterday stays yesterday, and as from today we are now one, that's where you now have to start thinking about, are we one from yesterday? Are we one from today? Meaning that, are we one from all the wealth that I acquired yesterday? Or are we one from the wealth that we will start now acquiring today, or whatever we put on that small print? That's where that is where
So
a clear
how could you be
understanding.
one? How could you be one and still you have your other side somewhere? Because what I know of oneness is that you are one. You don't have yesterday. You don't have tomorrow. You have you. That makes you one.
You see, even if let's assume you are one with someone today, even if you're going to the court of law and you're going to divorce, they will say, someone will say, I worked hard, so you cannot share 50% of my work, because I built this alone. I did not build this with you. So now, if we are going to get to the stage where we are splitting or we are separating, especially if the original idea is not from the person who has worked hard, the original idea is the person who has joined the hard work. So therefore, in all fairness, you cannot be splitting your hard labor with someone who has joined you in the middle of the way, and then they decide now to part from you. So
Wow.
to part from you, because you are not parting from them, they are parting from you. So therefore, they are deciding to quit. So there's no way you can share your hard labor with someone who joined you along the road, and then they're now leaving you also on that road. And but they
Brother
are
Enoch,
Yeah,
they
Brother
expect
Enoch,
that's actually not a marriage. It's kind of something you are imagining. You are imagining something. So if you are imagining something, you don't live somewhere. That means that you have bad mentality. That one day, like you're gonna mafia the person or you're gonna do something wrong. So even if you are doing something, you don't have any fear in you. You don't have any respect for your fellow partner. That's why you are saying that, oh, what I worked for yesterday is not part of our today. It actually doesn't, sound right for somebody that you are married to tells you like, oh, what I worked for yesterday is not part of my our today. It's out of disrespect.
Unless the person is coming to gather what you work for, they're coming for you. They're not coming for what you work for. If
They're
someone
coming
is
for everything. If I'm coming for you, I'm coming for everything. All of
hey,
you. You are bad. You are good. You are disadvantaged. You are everything. Everything.
that one, you're not coming for the person hard work, you're coming for the person. It's not about being the person being bad, the person being rude, the person being what. You are coming for that individual, not for the material. The individual is what you're
But
coming
the individual,
for,
Mr.
not
Rita, the
for.
individual standing there is a material. The individual standing
it's
there
it's
yeah.
part and parcel. It's part and
Mm-hmm.
parcel. Surely, Sister
Uh-huh.
Cecile. Brother
Yeah.
Enoch has a point.
I completely disagree with that. That's why this man left sorrowful, painful. It gets back to the kind of like I know we are talking real life and we are talking about the scripture. Didn't you see that Jesus Christ said to the man who said, "What can I do to inherit the kingdom of God, heaven?" Jesus Christ said, "Go and sell everything that you have and follow me." But he realized that what he had, he couldn't sell it and give it to the poor and follow Jesus Christ. What did he do? He left Jesus Christ. He couldn't cope with it. I would just take him as the same man who Richard encountered. He heard that what is man stays man. He left because he couldn't cope with not having that material. So meaning that his
No, it's
intention.
not it's not like he couldn't cope. It's like that woman, he saw wickedness in that woman. That's why he ran. So he ran for his life. He ran for his life because a person that can make such a statement, what if like you go in and you build something with him, this person will stand up and just work for the property or the things that you guys have built. So she wasn't prepared for relationship. She wasn't prepared for marriage. She wasn't prepared for anything. And I even think that she is the one rather wanting the material things.
And and I tell you, it's very interesting what Brother Enoch's saying. My friend said that he was going to be very keen if this topic was discussed to find out what people made of this scenario. I mean, you've used the word, Brother Enoch, wicked. You've also said, and what I'm picking up on when I was reasoning with my friend, is about the attitude. What was the attitude and intent of both parties? So I've listened carefully to what Sister Cecilia said, but what you've just said, Brother Enoch, is very interesting. The attitude. Was this lady showing an attitude which the gentleman picked up on and said, I've got to get out because when the going gets tough, this may not be the person for me. Now, let me add this added point in this real life scenario. he speculated, and I put the question to him. I said, well, what would happen if you went on to have businesses and financial packages of your own, wealth of your own? Would this lady, based on what you've said, she has said to you, would she not at that particular point simply say, respect to you, I don't want what you've worked hard for, no problem at all. We're going to share what we have together because I said what's mine stays mine. So when you earn, it stays yours. Do you know my friend's response was, I don't think this lady would be cut from that particular cloth, Brother Richard. He speculated, and we argued about this because he was only speculating, as was I. But I speculated that she would not want what he's worked hard for. His response was, He strongly believed that if he went on to a wealthy, productive, successful career, she, that very same woman, would say, wait a minute, what's yours should be mine. After all, I've been with you on this journey. I could not believe it, but it's a fascinating dilemma. Do you think that he was on good grounds there, Brother Enoch, or do you think, wait a minute, maybe he was not being totally genuine? Maybe the woman would stick to her guns. He suggested that she wouldn't, and she would change and flip the switch, flip script even.
No, I will even say that I'm suspecting that when the man make it one way or the other, the lady will gonna change their mind and now try to even join the staff. If really they're gonna stay for long, trying to join the staff together so that she will have major part of the properties of the man. So it's very wicked side of the woman that God revealed to the man. He should thank God that the woman made such a statement.
I don't believe so. I do believe that the woman was making a point of referral from where she started to that level. Let's assume for argument's sake, someone has worked hard alone by themselves and they join you and they said, what's mine stays mine. They're talking about up to the stage where they haven't met you or they haven't started with you. Now, the time that both of you join together, whatever you build at that stage belongs to the both of you. Either the woman is a high earning income or the man is a high earning income. It belongs to both of you because you're making that journey together. You're spending that time together. There's no longer what stays man, what's man stays man, because you are now together. Join energy, join force, join time, join heart, everything is joined. But I believe the woman was referring to what she had previously worked. And then maybe for her referring that, she might have spoken to the man and realized that this man doesn't look too keen on me. Maybe he looks too keen on my material. So yes, women have a way of assessing.
Would the woman said the same thing if the man is the one that is carrying most of the wealth or most of the properties?
I'm sure.
She wouldn't have done that.
I'm sure she wouldn't have man, because as a woman, if you, I speak as a woman here because I'm one. As a woman, if you meeting a man who has made his wealth in the past and they're well off, even if you meet them at this stage and they say, what's mine stays mine, as a woman, you wouldn't mind, because you know that joining them even at this stage or at this hour or at this minute or this time, they will still make wealth. They already started that journey. So they will carry on that. It's not as if it's not as if the wealth will cease today. It will carry on. So you know that definitely 3 years together, they will still make more wealth. So if you want to benefit from that, you will benefit from that. You're not looking at is not going to stop today. It will carry on 10 years down the line. It will carry on growing and growing and growing. So you don't even mind about what they said, what's man stays man, because obviously they're already on the journey of making wealth. So you will benefit from that wealth anyway. It's not going to stop. The journey will not stop here. But some men will automatically think, okay, because she said her yesterday is not mine, let me run off, not knowing that that same woman who built it yesterday, she will carry on building until tomorrow. So you are not stopping there. The wealth is not stopping this very hour. If she has the ability to build, or she had the ability to build yesterday, meaning that from today she will still build until tomorrow. So you have nothing to lose.
That is not promise.
Does
That is
that
not
make
promise.
sense?
That is not promise that since you were successful yesterday, you're going to be successful tomorrow. So it's not promise. So if we are joining hands together, we all come on board with everything that you got. We all come on board. We all bring everything on the table.
Pastor Enoch, I hope you're not looking for someone who has made their wealth and you're
No,
looking to go and sit down.
Oh,
I'm a look at let's say your intentions, right? Your intentions, and even with a statement that the woman made, that means that the person doesn't have good intention. So what is keeping, if you know that you can keep on making wealth when you guys join together, you wouldn't even make that statement. That's the point. You wouldn't even make that statement. So it means that this person had bad intention. That she is even the person that is rather going after the properties of the man. When they make set people, it won't be less easy for them to divorce you at any time when they realize that you have made it. That's who that person is, because you're supposed to emerge everything. You're supposed to emerge everything. That is what we call marriage. You bring whatever. You bring your past. I love your past, so you bring your past. I love your future. You bring your future. I like your now. You bring your now. We all journey together. Then we build our empire. But you don't tell me like, okay, you know what? I have this type of properties and stuff, and because you didn't build with me, I'm leaving that one I start. So let's start again. What kind of life is that? If you love me, you love everything, you bring everything on board, we do it together.
Pastor Enoch has intention of going to grab someone's hard labor.
No, like if I'm coming to marry somebody, I have my own stuff. And as a man, right, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for everything that is for you. If you don't have, I still love you the way you are. I'm coming for, excuse me, I'm coming for your poverty, right? I'm coming to marry everything about you. So I'm not looking at whether you have it or not. But when I come and you make a statement like, oh, this is this and this is what I have built, and this is not part of our relationship or our marriage, at once I have to run away, because at the end of the day, if I don't make it, you will disrespect me. That's when disrespect will come in. That's when the woman will be a man of the house. That's when you will not able to have a say in your marriage. So in order for that not to happen, I'll not even continue with such a person.
it's a very interesting point. You can see that, this can cause contention, and it is a matter of opinions. And to find a solution is a very tricky, delicate thing. Brother Enoch, I'm sure that my friend would empathize with where you're coming from, but Sister Cecile, where you're coming from, and particularly as a woman, it's a very interesting point and points that you have raised. Brother Enoch, they do say, Sister Cecile, viewers and subscribers, they do say that it's not money that is the root of all evil. It is the love of money. And this could be where this scenario and solutions are to be found. My friend, if I'm not mistaken, he did make the point around attitude, because I believe him when he said, as a man and as an individual in this relationship, his opinion. And in fact, this is something where you guys could pipe up by all means. He is of African descent, spent many years over here, but he is of the opinion that when he enters a relationship, it's with everything he has. He's not holding back. What's his is his partner's, and vice versa. He's not standing on ceremony or compartmentalizing. I'm going to hold this for myself. She can hold that for herself. We'll have this pot. It's his heart and his soul, his attitude and his intent is of an African, shall we say, tradition, an aura, an energy from his standpoint. And that's the way it is. He believes that a quote unquote Western style attitude comes into the equation where this what's mine is mine attitude can destroy relationships. To what degree would you agree that this may be a cultural thing, Brother Enoch and Sister Cecile? Brother Enoch first, if I may, I would of course lay the floor to Sister Cecile, who is a woman and an outstanding woman. May I say, speak!
Pastor Enoch, go ahead.
I would say this is not kind of cultural thing. I won't push this scenario to culture. I would say that it's a decision as human being to take, because when it comes to love and marriage, this one is above culture. It's about heart issue. It's about love. So when I'm coming to you, it might be that you don't understand my culture. And I'm not coming for you because of maybe your culture. I'm coming for you because I love you. And when I love you, I mean I love everything about you. So when I love everything about you, it means if you have properties, I love them. If you are disabled or something, I love them. Whatever and whoever you are, I'm coming for you as a person. But whereby you bring in some stuff like, this is what I have, it's not part of you, it's not part of the marriage. Or for instance, you have let's say you have kids and I'm coming to marry you. Will you tell me that, don't provide for my kids because they are not yours? No. You will definitely like demand or expect me to provide for your kids as well, because they are part of you. They are part of you. So you expect me to love them equally as the children that I'm coming to, bear with you. So I would say that, Mr. Richard, first of all, it's not a culture thing. It's a decision and the character of that woman that, and it is better that your friend run away fast, because at the end of the day, there's going to be a heartbroken issue. Thank you.
We have gone over an hour, so we're probably going to end in bits. I'm just going to add that one. I will agree with Pastor Enoch that it's not a culture issue, because if
Yeah, mommy, agree with me.
Yes, I heard her. I heard her loud and clear.
I've already won.
In brackets,
victory.
I've already won.
Let me develop.
Let me develop.
Let me develop. I will agree with you. I'm developing here. I will agree with you that it's not a culture issue, because if it was a culture issue, and if that friend of yours is really an African, descendant as he claims to be, an African culture as he claims to be, not that he has adopted the European culture, an African with African character, with African behavior, as I know it, will not come for what the woman has worked for. He will respect himself so much that he will not want to put himself down for people to even say that he went for that woman because she has property, because she has money. African, they are very dignified. Those who still behave like African, they are very dignified. They have their pride that a man is supposed to be providing, a provider of the family. So they never gone anywhere to say that, oh, because this woman has riches and glory, I'm going for that. They go because they know that I will be able to stand as a man. I will be able to provide. I will be proud when I say that this is my family. No one can come out and say to me that I went to sit on a woman's hard labor to project myself as a man. That is how I know Africa culture to the limit. But now, any African man who is still holding that value and still holding that culture, there's no way a woman can say to him that what's man stays man and he will run off, because he knows that marrying is for him to provide for his family. Whatever a woman has will not even bother him as an African man. I'm telling you,
Wow.
not the African European men who now are sitting on women's hard labor and they are proud to actually be living in women's hard work. No, as I know my parents, as I know how I was raised, as I know my brother how they are, I still say my brothers how they are. None of them will actually be proud to sit there and say that a woman has worked for him and he's just enjoying the labor of a woman. He will be ashamed to actually project themselves like that. So he will want to say that I've worked. He will want to sit in his house knowing that if a chair came there, he worked 85%, and the woman contributed to 25 or 15%. He will not want to say that, oh, the woman contributed 80% and he contributed just 20%. That's not African culture that I know. That's where you and I agreed that this is not a matter of culture, because a culture will not actually want to sit on a woman's hard labor. This is European culture, and this is how many African men are learning to come and sit on women's hard labor, and they are pride in themselves and they are happy with it, and they are not feeling any shame, and they're not feeling any disgrace, and they're not feeling any kind of fear to even be happy to be sitting on a woman, a lesser, a stronger person working for them, and they're just sitting there projecting themselves. So what are you a man for? You're a man to be providing for your family, working hard, being proud, being the head. The man is the head of the family. The Bible says it, the society says it. So how is the head of the family? You go and sit there and be happy for the woman to be working, and even be happy to go and sit and looking at this woman has money, I'm going to enjoy. Come on.
Brother Enoch is shaking his head. Shaking his head. You need to speak, Brother Enoch. Speak.
Anyway, so we are drawing to the end. So I do believe that it's not a matter of culture, like Pastor Enoch said. I do agree that it's not a matter of culture. And I do agree that both the man and the woman, they both have some ego. They both have some pride. They both are greedy. They both are arrogant. They are both the same. So the two kind of people with the two kind of behavior, with the two kind of mindset, they actually met together. So none is better than the other one. They both the same. They like each other. That's why they were able to suss each other out very fast enough. And again, I will say it's good that they parted their way, because it would have been a disaster, because none of them is better than the other one. They're both the same. That's what I can say.
You know, the energy that my mom is using to defend the woman is so amazing. What I would say is that no, I mean, it's truly we don't know the ideology of the man when he was going in. And no man at his right sense will go to a woman with the first motive of like, I want your properties. It doesn't work that way. So
Right. Go ahead. Go ahead.
For the woman to start by, let's say, okay, if you want a relationship, this is my way that we should go about it. That what is mine stays mine till we met together or till we start building something for ourselves. That means that character-wise, the woman is not there. It means that this woman is carrying that ideology that wherever she goes, no matter who she meets, she's gonna
Pastor,
make the person
Pastor
aware.
Enoch, can I ask you a question? And you,
Sure.
Bro
Sure.
Richard, can I ask you a question? Should it not have been the place of that man to then, after he's gone sorrowful, after he's gone disappointed, should it not have been his place to actually call back the woman as a man and say that, oh, you said something the other day, I kind of like find it a bit offensive or a bit difficult to understand or a bit harder to digest. As a man, wouldn't you do that naturally than to just disappear and say and conclude in your mind that this relationship is not going taking me anywhere? I'm not having to say anything. Any decent man, any man with a rational mindset, any man who really embark themselves in a serious or meaningful relationship will turn back after some day or 2 days after they have digested what they heard and decently go to the woman and say, you know what, I don't think this relationship can work because of ABC, or I was a bit hurt or taken back by what you said. And then I feel like, oh, we cannot really go far with that because of whatever. Wouldn't that be at least a responsibility of any decent man to actually conclude that, or than to just run off like a small cat, just running and hiding and not saying anything after?
Well, Sister Cecile, you did say it was a question, so we're waiting for the question which has been asked to be answered by our good selves.
Would you not have gone back and said anything, or should a man run and not say anything?
Sister Cecile, you've asked the question.
I wouldn't have run. I would have fly. Running is very easy. Running is an understatement. Mommy, running is an understatement.
Brother Enoch, please go ahead. You've taken the words out of my mouth, because this scenario, the gentleman may have gone back, but he may have gone back or kept in communication. But this was a seminal in this scenario. I believe it's a seminal moment, and he knew it was the beginning of the end. Now, Brother Enoch mentioned flying. Continue your flying speak, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Richard, for your support. I would have fly because, like, let's say, out of the abundance of the things of the heart comes the reality, life issues. So the thing is, that was inside, and it's not easy to mold someone's character. What if it's going to take 5 years, and within that 5 years, it doesn't work?
No. I'm not saying to mold the character. I'm saying, would you
that is
who, and just finish it off in a nice way to say what you said. I was taken back, and I think, having said so, we have no future. That's what I'm asking.
I think the man was giving respect to the woman, even not to point out to her that statement, because it's an awful statement. It's a statement that shouldn't come out of a lady's mouth. That's what I mean. Maybe he was giving the woman respect of not letting even her know that this is a statement that is not supposed to come from somebody that is wise. No, you don't make such statement in a place whereby you are now even getting to know each other, right? At least you should work things out. Oh, okay. How should we do things? How should we, go about the things that I have made things about you have made, by making this personalized, making this about yourself. It's wrong. You don't do that. But you go about.
It's honesty. It's honesty and clarity.
There's difference between honesty and how you come out with that statement. If you are honest person, that means that you have wisdom. So how the woman portrayed it, how the woman constructed those statements is very wrong. You make it about yourself.
She worked for her hard labor. You are never wrong in your hard labor. You are never wrong in your work.
She's a selfish person. She's a selfish person. You are making this thing about yourself. No,
It's
it doesn't
what's
work
mine
that way.
stays mine.
No, it doesn't work about that way. It's like how you go about those statements, how you go about it. You don't make it seem like as if you are in for material things or properties, or there is no kind of love. Okay, here is the case. This is what I'm bringing in board, right? I know that you are coming with properties. Even if the man is not coming with properties, make him feel like a man. Make the man feel like
in
a
the
man.
woman's hard labor.
No, I'm not saying that give your hard labor to the man, but at least in order for you not to, like disrespect the man in that way. Oh, I know that you are coming with properties, and I'm also coming with properties. But since we are not, since we are,
probably
since
knew
we are
that
not,
man has no property.
How will you know? How do you know? There are people, if you see them at first, you not like portray them in how or who they are. Some people, they have so many things, but their dressing is not good. So I mean, you can't just read a person at the first sight and make judgment. So I'm saying
maybe she knew the person. That's why she brought out that statement.
Mom,
Maybe she even heard
mhm.
about his proud history. That's why she brought out that statement. Maybe she followed his language while they were having dinner. That's why she brought out that statement. You never
My Lord.
There could have been many small many small
Red flags. You call them red flags,
So
indicators.
what even if the man was testing her? What if the man was testing her? How will you know?
If he was testing her, he would not have gone sorrowful. He wouldn't have gone sorrowful. He wouldn't have gone with a hard.
He will go sorrowful because of the way the woman talk. It's like, oh, how can a beautiful woman like this talk this statement to me?
He could have also spoken like a handsome man. He could have spoken like a handsome man also.
So we now we don't know the speech of what statement the man made, but we know the speech that the woman made. That's why we are standing on that manner to judge. So per what the woman made, the statement that she made, we are saying that it's disrespect. This is uncalled for. Even she must be arrested.
Ladies, let's chit chat. It's been such a great topic. We have overpassed an hour. I believe you can give us your comment. You can give us your opinion. You can perhaps ask her to bring the topic back if you're pleased and you want something to be developed a bit more. Thank you so much for listening to Pastor Enoch, who is really siding with the man like no man's land. He's really, really behind that man. And me also, I'm kind of like balancing both.
Nah, you are also beside the woman.
So, Pastor Enoch, if you are to advise anyone who has gone through this, what would you tell them?
I would say that go for what is inside the person, not what is outside. Because definitely whilst you are there, then what is inside will come out and you might run away. Like the man ran away because the things that came out of the woman was uncalled for. So I believe that anytime that you are going for marriage or relationship, it shouldn't be about the beauty wise. It shouldn't be about the material wise. It should be about what is inside the person, what the person carry. Some people, they carry visions. So you go for the visions. You don't go for what is already there. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Richards, what's your advice?
I can only add to what Brother Enoch said. I appreciate where you're coming from, Sister Cecile, but Brother Enoch has been very clear. I do think that character, mindset, and attitude, the whole question of love, that has been brought to the fore. And Brother Enoch is very assertive, and I can see where the brother is coming from, because if you're entering a relationship, you'd like to think that the ground is fertile, where love, empathy, understanding, character, appreciation, these kind of things are in place. And if you do get a scenario where, as Brother Enoch said very tellingly, if you've got a mindset of an individual, whoever they meet, they have this mindset of what's mine stays mine, with no willingness to change. That could be a mindset that could, down the line, indicate that that might not necessarily be the person for you. What I would add, which Brother Enoch did mention earlier, but not in his surmising, if you find you're in a scenario where you feel uncomfortable and you feel that disrespect, a downturn in the relationship could be forthcoming, I strongly suggest you buy a pilot's license. You need to be prepared to fly. You need to be prepared to fly, not just run.
Fly.
You heard the men, you heard both of buyers. They are very biased towards the topic, so you heard them. If you are in any situation where someone is coming to your life and you have the smallest inch that they're coming for what you have worked for and not for love or not for a long stay, then it's up to you. That feeling will tell you, you will have the feeling, you have the red flag, and you will follow your mind, not to follow somebody's mouth, but follow your heart, follow your mind, pray about it. Let God guide you. Let your intuition guide you. Let people around you guide you. Don't take any decision because you are taking it by feelings or by emotions or by the happenings. Be very careful and be very wise. You don't want to lose what you have worked for years and end up in a very bitter situation. You also don't want to lose someone who potentially can be your lifetime partner because of what you have predicted them coming to do in your life. So stay tuned, stay safe. We love you and we see you soon. And Pastor Enoch has something to say before we close.
Please, Mommy, next time, because of your conclusion, next time the men will conclude.
And for the next topic, the men will definitely conclude because he feels like I have said it all. So the next topic, men will conclude. We love you and have a great day or a great night. I love both of you. See you later. Bye.
Sharing's a beautiful thing.
Thank you so much for staying with us until the end. It's been wonderful discussing this topic. I was brought up to believe that any worries not talked about become bigger problems. There's no wrong reason to reach out. If you're going through these issues or you know anyone who is going through this issue, please reach my contact number below and I will ensure to reach you back. My passion in life is to see you having a healthier, a happier, and a more